Wanted to get started here with a quick quote. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal or idea. Earl Nightingale said that one. So the reason we're kind of going with this one, today we're going to go around setting goals, how to keep attainable goals, and to keep yourself going by kind of goal management, right? So that's why I wanted to go with this quote here. And really how to define success around your goals there. So with that, happy Motivation Monday, guys. We'll get started here. So this week we'll go over some tips of the week, go over some sales shout outs. We'll go over setting goals as we discussed there, and kind of just different things you want to look for while doing that for yourself. And then the survey at the end. So big thing here, guys, there's a lot going on right now, right? We're ramping up for open enrollment here, both for Medicare and for our under 65, right? Just a couple months away here. So whole lot of information going out. We also have a whole lot of carriers that are putting out new products. So just want to kind of blast the newsstand here real fast so that you guys can make sure you're up to date on all that, checking that out. We're going to continue kind of pushing Medicare for the next, 6 weeks or so, maybe 2 months, as we're kind of really getting ramped up here to get started with Medicare open enrollment, and then under 65 right behind it, right? So look out for that. We've got, again, a whole lot of new plans, new products coming out in our under 65 as well. So there will be a lot of new carrier updates coming through that also. So with that, kind of staying right in theme of that, we have Medicare training, right? So that's been going on. We've had this series going on now for a couple weeks. Hopefully you've already registered. If you haven't, guys, get registered here. If you need, reach out. We'll give you the information at the end of this webinar. Reach out to us. We'll get you the information how to get registered for this. A lot of good stuff. You only need to register once, and you're available for all these classes. So you can kind of just jump in and out, as you're available. These are always going to be at 10:30 a.m. Pacific, 1:30 Eastern time in the afternoon there on those particular dates there. So really encourage you guys to check them out if you're even semi-interested at getting the Medicare thing going this year. A lot of good information in those things, all right? All right, so let's jump into our sales leaders for last week here. So Nat Gen just kind of killed it this week. I mean, you guys, that seemed like the hot sales product this week all around from kind of everybody selling. So short term was heavily Nat Gen this week. Limited med Nat Gen with the Foundation Health. We had accident coming through with Plan Enhancer, and then critical illness Nat Gen as well. Ironically, United and Golden Rule actually stayed tops in dental, even with such an onslaught of everything else Nat Gen. So that was kind of funny to see. And it is good. It shows that we're making sure to put our customer in the right product, right? Not just keep it easy all the way down. So good job there, guys. So the top short-term salespeople this week, we had Bill Cox, great job, Blake Bowman, and Lad Trojacek. I hope I said that right, so I apologize if I didn't, but those are 3 names, new names for me on the list, so I love seeing that. Great job this week, guys. Limited Med, we had Katya Santamaria and Allison Heeg, so awesome job this week, guys. And Accident, Cody Randazzo and Christine Jesse. So definitely, Katya and Cody, you keep selling those products. You guys do it every week. But awesome job seeing a lot of new names I haven't really seen on this list. So great job, guys. Let's keep pushing this next week. This is my favorite time of year. Everyone's kind of getting pumped up and getting going. So let's get it. So with that, we're going to kind of jump right into setting goals, guys, right? And so biggest thing, what we start with is setting SMART goals, right? And maybe you've heard this acronym before, maybe you haven't. But so first thing, we break it down, we go, S is for specific, right? You want to get specific on the goals that you're setting. This is the who, what, when, where, how, why, right? All that stuff. So what do I want to accomplish? why is this goal important to me? How am I going to get there, right? The specific, you got to make that going on in there, which kind of leads right next to the M in SMART is measurable, right? It has to be measurable. Now, there are two other words. I've seen this acronym used a couple different ways, a couple different times, and there are two other M's I've seen used before. So on top of measurable, you could also think meaningful or motivating, right? Now, I love measurable because it's clearly defining what you're trying to accomplish, right? The goal isn't to be happy. That's vague. It's not really measurable, right? The goal is to get 30 apps across in the next 30 days. That's 1 app per day. It's easy to measure, right? It's easy to keep track of where you're at on your course. I like that. I also like motivating, right? Any goal that you should be trying to do something that you're motivated to do and something that motivates you, right? So I do like motivating a little bit there. The next one is attainable or achievable, right? Well, I just went all the way through, but attainable or achievable. If your biggest month ever was 100 apps, right? And maybe that's like November of last year, last open enrollment. Don't set your goal at 100 apps in April, right? That might not be as attainable for you if your top month ever was in open enrollment and that was it, right? But maybe with open enrollment coming up, maybe next for this November, you set the goal of 125, right? Something that you might be able to jump up to, but don't set that goal too far out. And it's got to be an attainable goal that you know how to get to, all right? Then we already showed it, but relevant, right? Don't set a goal like, I want to own 10 puppies in the next 2 years, right? What's that going to get for you, right? So how about like, I want to have 5 critical illness plans added on in my sales in the month of September, right? Something that you might not have done yet, but you want to kind of start developing that part of your game, right? And so you want to shoot a couple critical illness shots and see if you can get a couple in. And so maybe 5 in the month of September is an attainable goal that you can try to shoot for. Hopefully you get it. If you land at 3 or 4, at least you tried. What did you learn from it, right? But relevant goals, guys. Got goals that are going to help you and help your business. And then the last one is timely or time-bound goals. It's letting you guys know you have a set time frame on your goal, right? You can set a goal, let's say, to sell 100 apps, right? If you just end your goal right there, well, how long is it going to take you to get 100 apps? 3 months, 1 month? Are we going a year? Like, without a target goal in mind as far as time frame, right? You can't measure your success or failure. So they have to be timely goals. They have to be time-bound goals. And you determine that, right? So let's dive in a little bit. So making a plan, right? What are you trying to accomplish? So maybe write down the 10 things that you want this year, right? And maybe it's not 10, but try and make a list. What are the things you want this year? Now, by making a list of those things that are important to you, you're actually creating an image in your mind of something you're trying to get to. Your mind will now create this kind of necessary chaos to make these images become a reality, right? So 10 things, if you create that list, you'll actually attain probably 7 or 8 of those within the year, just because you are setting your mind on this course, okay? Also, when making your plan, guys, look at long-term versus short-term, right? Not all goals have to be 1-year goals, 5-year goals, 10-year goals, right? You can have daily goals, okay? You can have weekly goals. So you want to set levels to your goals and understand why those are there. And then make goals within the goals, right? So if you make your top 10 list and one of those is going to take you a year to get to, okay? What are some smaller goals that will help you accomplish that bigger goal, right? And so maybe your bigger goal is to go on a carrier trip right? It's selling X however many apps you need to sell in a 3 or 6 month period of time, let's call it. Well, maybe your smaller goals, how do I break that down into weeks or months, and how many do I need to hit in a week or a month? And so you're kind of setting those smaller goals so you can keep yourself on track for that whole 6 month period of time. So that's where that goals within goals plays. Time is relative, and that's kind of exactly what we were talking about there with the 3 month, 6 month, etc. Pick attainable, realistic time frames. Okay, again, you know yourself. What's a challenge for you to get to 5 of a certain type of product or of a certain carrier or whatever? But pick goals that you can hit, but that do challenge you. Okay, and in realistic time frames. Again, is 5 in a day realistic for you? Maybe, depends on what level of your game you're at, right? Is 5 in a week, 5 in a month? Adjust accordingly, but you want to make sure that you're being true to yourself here, right? And kind of right on that is using your past as a measuring stick. If you've never been a 100 app writer before, maybe you can get there, right? But maybe your first goal is looking at your best month ever, and can I top that, right? Your best week ever, can you top that, et cetera, et cetera. So use your past to look back, see where have I been, and what's a goal that I can actually push myself to achieve. Some people want to set these goals, you want to be right in line with the top dog, and that's an awesome goal to have down the line. But if you're just getting started, you gotta crawl before you can walk, right? Et cetera, et cetera. And then set multiple goals for different lengths of time. So a fun thing to play is the 3 most important things, right? So you start with, what are the 3 things that I want to achieve before I die, right? And those are those huge lifetime goals, right? 3 things I want to do before I die. And then you kind of work backwards and get smaller and smaller in the period of time to play with this. So then you go, what do I want to accomplish in the next 20 years? What about in the next 10 years, 5 years, now in this year, this month, this week? And then what are the 3 most important things I want to accomplish today, right? And that's kind of how you play with your mind with the goal setting, right? And you do want to kind of have those goals for different periods of time, but attainable goals that are going to keep you to something you can write and put in front of you and go after. Then obtaining my goals, guys. First thing is to find out what motivates you, okay? What is on your mind? Because we become what we think about, right? So obsess over something that's going to motivate you, and become obsessed with that, and make all of your goals point to something that you obsess about, right? That are going to make you excited, to push you, to motivate you. All right, that's awesome. Ask yourself good questions. As you think about your goals, don't wish for them to come through. Ask yourself, what can I do? How can I do it? How do I make this come true? So that's going to make you go a lot further in obtaining your goals than just wishing to get there, right? How do I get there? And then the last one, guys, is to prioritize your goals, right? Ask yourself, why is the goal important versus another? And as you're prioritizing your goals, you might find that that top one on your list is a longer period time goal than some of the others that are more short term, right? So you prioritize that, right? But then you find out, maybe do some of these short term goals kind of fall right in line with one of those longer goals? So use that in prioritizing it. Then you're making sure you're accomplishing new stuff in shorter periods of time, but making sure that those things that you're accomplishing are leading to a future end goal, right? Awesome. And then some final thoughts, guys, here as we're wrapping up. If you set goals that you cannot and will not achieve, you've already set yourself up to fail, right? Consistently achieving our goals continues to motivate and inspire us to accomplish others. So always make attainable goals, guys, okay? I feel like I put this on half of the slides I do at the final, but never give up, right? When you're setting your goals, set small targets, stuff that you're fairly confident you can attain. And as you accomplish these goals, then push yourself to do just ever increasingly more, right? There will be months you don't achieve your goals, and that's okay. Just review what happened. What could you do differently, and then set a goal for the next month or the next week and go and achieve it, right? And then the biggest thing is to follow up on yourself, right? A lot of times people will set a goal for a week or a month and then they kind of just forget about it, or they set it for a year. You're inspired. You just listen to this goal setting thing. I'm going to go out and I'm going to do this. And then you kind of just let it go, right? So put your goals somewhere that's easy to see. If you've got a workspace at home, or if you go into an office, print them out, or get one of those fun little dry erase boards that you can hang up in your work area and set some goals. And then it's fun. You can dry erase, so you can actually set daily, weekly goals, monthly goals, and you can kind of have all that in front of you, right? So these things are going to always be on your mind. It's very important that you are keeping track of yourself. And then you're seeing, oh, I didn't hit that goal today. Why? What did I do? What went right? And what went wrong? What can I improve on, right? So self-management is so important in this industry. And that goes right in line with that, right? So awesome, guys. Hopefully this gave you some ideas, some stuff with setting goals, but definitely make sure you are doing that. If nobody's going to manage you for you here, right? So you got to set these goals for yourself, something that you can accomplish and something to grow on, okay? Cool. So if you have any questions, email training@ahcpsales.com. You can also call agency services at 877-228-8773. Guys, this is Trainer Nick Murillo checking out from California. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. And we will talk to you next week.